What's good, everyone? So recently I've been in the process of getting stuff done for both the channel and my personal life, and because of that I didn't really have much time to make a video this weekend. However, a weird recent string of fate has allowed me to upload a video this weekend without putting any effort into it at all. That's right, my original Tokyo Ghoul review that I uploaded 14 months ago got taken down by a bunch of corporate assholes. I should clarify though, it wasn't really taken down and I didn't get a strike on my channel, but they claimed the music I used in the intro and then they blocked it in every single country. Usually if the music gets claimed you just can't monetize it and I don't really care because I don't make enough money off of this anyway. But these guys just wanted to be butts about it, and you can tell too that it was manually claimed. I mean, if it was going to be automatically claimed it would have happened 14 months ago. You know there was just some asshole in Japan looking at Tokyo Ghoul videos seeing what things he could take down. This is also clear because the intro is still available to watch in the first intro compilation I did last year. So if for whatever reason you still want to see that, I'll have the intro compilation in the description. But just to be safe, I did remove the intro from this video. So with that out of the way, if you haven't seen it yet, I hope you enjoy my 14-month-old Tokyo Ghoul review. Hey guys, welcome to my full series review for Tokyo Ghoul. Now just to clarify something, I know the story for Tokyo Ghoul isn't over. Tokyo Ghoul Re is the sequel series which is continuing right now. However, this will be a review for the completed series of Tokyo Ghoul, which is 14 volumes. So Tokyo Ghoul is a seinen manga created by Sui Ishida, and it was serialized from 2011 to 2014 in Weekly Young Jump. So the story begins with our protagonist Ken Kaneki. Now Kaneki is a pretty normal dude. He's quiet, he likes to read, and he's going to college right now. So the series starts with him going on a date with this girl named Rize. Now everything seems to be going fine. He really takes a liking into her. They're reading the same books or whatever. So they finish the date and he begins to walk her home. You know, everything is going good. He's feeling pretty awesome about himself. And then all of a sudden the shit hits the fan. Because it turns out Rize is actually a ghoul. A ghoul is a creature that lives among the humans. They look and talk just like them. The only difference though is that they have very dangerous powers called kagune, and they survive by eating human flesh. So unfortunately for our protagonist, he was targeted by a ghoul and he is now about to be eaten. So Rize is there cutting him up and he is there on the ground dying, all these holes in his body, all this crap going on. But seemingly just by chance, a bunch of crap falls off a nearby building and kills Rize. So Kaneki gets rescued and brought to the hospital where he has no choice but to undergo an organ transplant. The thing is though, they needed to do an emergency organ transplant ASAP if they were going to save his life, and the only organs they could find were Rize's. So Kaneki wakes up and then he begins to realize that some things are a bit different. Mainly, he can't eat anymore, and what I mean by this is that whenever he tries to eat normal food, he just can't. It tastes horrible. He can't even bring himself to swallow it. And then to his horror, he realizes that he has become a ghoul and now he can only survive by eating other humans. Without really knowing what to do next, he befriends the ghouls who work at Anteku, which is a cafe basically run by ghouls where, you know, ghouls can come in and just, you know, chill out, enjoy some, you know, heart or whatever the crap they eat. So now he is working here learning how to become a ghoul and how to live in a world where ghouls are basically hunted. Now, one of the things I loved about this series from the very beginning is that ghouls are pretty much common knowledge to everyone in this world. And I like this because oftentimes when you have a series that revolves around a different species or a different creature or whatever that's, you know, supernatural, they are usually hidden from the public eye, and, you know, people don't really know about these except for, you know, a few select people. But in this one, though, pretty much everyone knows what a ghoul is, and the whole world views them as these monsters who just all need to be eliminated. The thing is though, while some ghouls are really bad, they're a lot like humans, as there are also a large number of ghouls who are good, and the only reason they eat humans is because they have no other choice. Like, they will not be able to live if they don't eat humans. Now, there's also an organization of ghoul investigators known as the CCG, and a lot of the story actually focuses on these guys as they try to hunt down the ghouls, such as Kaneki and, you know, a bunch of other ghouls that you run into later on in the story. And what I love is that there's no real clear villain in this series. I mean, yeah, there's the occasional ghoul or human who, you know, they're really, really bad and they need to be dealt with. But as a whole, when you look at the CCG, most of them are doing what they think is right. And we spend a lot of time in this series with one of the Ghoul investigators, Amino, and some of the things that he goes through. And you can just tell that this guy is really good, and when he is hunting down the ghouls, he really feels like he is doing the right thing. Because most of the humans just really don't know any better. And it's the same thing with the ghouls. Many of them just grew up their entire lives being hunted by humans, and they think that the humans are the bad guys, and they have to kill them to survive. So I really like the way this whole thing is set up, you know, the whole food chain, circle of life, all that stuff. It reminds me a little bit of another manga series, Parasite, where you had these alien creatures who were killing humans not because they were necessarily evil, but they believed it was the right thing to do. So yeah, I just talked a lot about the premise of this story, but I really liked it. I thought it was really fast-paced, a lot of things just keep happening, and it was awesome. It's really sad. Like, it's really a tragic story. Like, you may be reading and realizing, oh, some things have been going pretty well these past couple chapters, I think everyone will be okay. Yeah, things only go down from there. We get a lot of tragic backstories about some of these characters, which, you know, make you grow more attached to them. There were a lot of suspenseful moments. The series is really violent and lots of people die, and I never felt like the series was faking me out. Like, I always feared for the lives of these characters. Now, I usually talk about the ending and how well it concludes the story, but the thing with this series is that it's not the end of the story. There is a sequel series called Tokyo Ghoul Re that is currently ongoing. And for that reason, I'm not going to take off points for the ending of this series not being a complete ending because, well, it's maybe the end of the series, it's not the end of the story. Although, that being said, it was still the end of a series, and I do kind of wish we had gotten a little bit more closure, because the ending is really open-ended. Don't get me wrong, there's still like a really awesome climax with some awesome fight scenes, really awesome last volume. But if you get the 14 volumes of Tokyo Ghoul expecting a complete story, you will not get one, so don't get your hopes up there. It did, however, make me very excited to read Tokyo Ghoul Re. So now let's talk about the characters. Now the characters are really what drive this series, especially our main character, Kaneki. The character development he goes through is insane from the beginning of the story, and I don't want to spoil what happens to him throughout the story, but my god. Oh, the character development. Now, he's not the only character with great development, though. There's a ton of other ghoul and human characters who we just learn a ton about. I mean, some characters, once they get introduced, I just hated them, but as we got to know them a bit better and learn their backstories and some of their motivations, I really started to feel for some of these characters I never thought I would feel for. So if two of them ever ended up in a fight together, I was really conflicted on who I should be rooting for. But yeah, like, all of these characters are super well written. It has a crazy wide variety of character types. You know, you have quiet characters, violent characters, outspoken characters, and some really crazy characters. Like, really crazy. Now, there were a few human characters that I didn't really care enough about because I don't think we spent enough time with them, and I feel like if we did, it would have been more impactful during their moments or whatever. But overall, I'd say it was a really good cast of characters, especially, like, a wonderful protagonist. Like, I mean, the stuff that happens to him isn't wonderful, but just the character development and the personality, he was an awesome character. Next up, we have the art, and to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of this art. It was by no means bad, and a lot of the scenes do look really good and detailed, but sometimes it didn't look particularly great. There were some times I noticed where there just wasn't all that much detail added in, and overall I just wasn't a huge fan of the art style that the mangaka used. However, art is incredibly subjective. Some people may think this series has amazing art, some people may hate it, but personally I just thought it was okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So with all that being said, I give Tokyo Ghoul my final score of 4 coffees out of 5. If you're wondering why it wasn't a little higher, it's just that while I did really enjoy the series, I didn't really think it was, like, excellent. I thought it was a great series, but for me it didn't really reach the height that some others have. So that was my review for Tokyo Ghoul. I would definitely recommend you check out this series if you are a fan of seinen manga. Viz Media is currently releasing the volumes. 5 are out now, and they are being released every 2 months. There was also an anime series produced by Studio Period. Now, I haven't seen the anime, so I can't tell you firsthand, but from what I hear, the first season follows the manga, but it's really rushed, and the second season cuts off from the manga and does its own story, and it's not particularly good. But I can't really say much there because I haven't seen it. That's only going on from what other people said, so you'll just have to go and see for yourself if you are at all interested. So that was my video, guys. Thank you guys so much for waiting and watching. And I'm very excited to say that my next full series review will be for Soul Eater. It will be out next month. So you can look forward to that, and I will see you guys in the next video.